Good morning, Ichigo, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Griever, your guys' host as always, bringing you guys the latest episode review of Bleach, episode 7. This episode compiles a couple of things. We end off, unlike the beginning of this series, where we had basically a two-part episode sort of idea for the first little bit here. Now we're jumping into half episodes, where the first half or the second half deals with a totally new storyline. In this case, we end off the whole mod soul thing with Kon and stuff. Kisuke shows up, they attack a hollow, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really of interest other than the fact that Ichigo finally meets Kisuke. They don't really exchange very many words, but they meet them. Rukia decides to keep the mod soul, and that's the end of it. We do get some nice scenes with the Urahara group, though. We get the fact we're starting to understand the dynamic here. Ururu feels really bad for giving, and I didn't really mention this in the last episode, but giving the wrong merchandise to Rukia and such, and she thinks she's going to be scolded. She thinks she's going to be punished. And Kisuke is there to just comfort her and say, listen, you made a mistake. It's a mistake, but I'm here to deal with it. Don't worry about it, right? So Kisuke, man after my own heart with that stuff. Always making sure that the crying kids feel better. So that's all fine and dandy. But after that, it's Kon and Ichigo versus a hollow. They beat it. They talk a little bit about how, and this is the last character development of Kon we're going to get, where he talks about how he felt terrified. Soul Society deemed him defective, wanted to erase their dirty past, destroy him. He just happened to escape, but he remembers being so scared and terrified, and he feels that nobody should ever have the right to say who should live or die in that regard. It's a good sentimentality. I don't necessarily agree with it or disagree with it. I just think it's compelling enough to keep him around. He's a rather good character, so I'm glad that Rukia said, no, you know what? This guy deserves a second chance sort of idea. Takes the mod soul from Kisuke. However, after this, all of Kon's tragedy, character development, and feelings go away the moment he's put in that goddamn plushie. That plushie ruined Kon. Because now he's some 2-bit, just cares about looking up girls' skirts, but not in a cool Meliodas type of way, from Seven Deadly Sins, but more of a just, okay, he's there, he's annoying, and the girl characters are going to constantly beat him up. Ichigo's going to throw him around the room, and he's just going to be all, the hyper character to Ichigo's laid-back attitude. He's going to be the, I told you right now, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. He's going to be the hype man. He's going to be the Grim Reaper to my Griever, if you would, for reactions. I make that comparison not lightly, and I mean no disrespect to Grim. Grim's a great guy. But Grim is always over-the-top, hype reactions. He is treading on 105% at all times. Me, I'm just like, okay. So we have a chapter. This is really nice art. Grim is this chapter's the greatest thing. Oh, I told you, and he gets crazy. That is Kon and Ichigo right there. And he's bringing that hype level to this. And, yeah. Unlike Grim, though, Kon doesn't bring anything to the community. Kon doesn't add anything in this way. Unlike Grim, who brings us the hype and the feelings of, even if it's not a great chapter, he makes us feel that that's a great chapter because he's so hype for every single page. Kon is just spitting nonsense as fast as he can, like he's hey, bada, swing, 25, 25, 25, do I have 25, 50, 25, 50, 25, 75, 25, 75, 75, 75, 28, 28, 20, 20, 28, 15, 28, 15. That's Kon in a nutshell. And it's not endearing, it's kind of annoying. So, yeah, after this point, he finds the plushie, Ichigo does, puts the mod soul inside, That's the end of Kohn's character, dead to rights. Now, the second half of this episode follows the important part, because we have the introduction of a filler character, and this doesn't necessarily break the story. A lot of people complain about this point. I don't mind it too much, but I felt its inclusion unnecessary. I don't know why they decided to do this. Because we have the anniversary of Ichigo's mother's death coming up, and they're leading up to that day. This is the day before, and we see how Ichigo reacts to this. We see how the family's reacting to that. They know what's coming. They're planning the day, because tomorrow they're gonna go visit their mother's grave. They're gonna just do a thing, right? And I can understand that, a mother taken too soon, young children, blah blah blah, and the dad trying to do his best. So they try to make this kind of a family outing, not necessarily in a morbid sense and not in a happy sense. Let's just all go together. Let's make it a thing. On the anniversary of Mom's death, we'll go and we'll pay her our respects. That's fine. That seems normal enough. And Ichigo kind of asks for the day off, and he talks about it a little bit. He starts worrying a little bit, like just about the fact that he believes that he killed his mother, because he did something stupid as a young kid. He ran after this young girl who was falling in the river. Next thing he knows, his mother's lying dead on the ground. No little girl in sight. So it's very sad. It's quite tragic, in fact. And this shapes a lot of Ichigo's character. Now, after this, though, he tells Rukia this, but we don't really see what she has to say about it yet. The end part of the episode is what I'm talking about. We have this filler scene where we have a new character, a Shinigami from the Soul Society, playing Beyblades. They're playing Beyblade in the Soul Society. I have no idea if whoever made this episode, this filler scene, this filler character thought, you know what? I miss Beyblade so goddamn much. Go Dragoon! Drawn, sir! Like, if that's what he was thinking, like he was just rewatching some Beyblade and thought, it's time, I want a Beyblade scene. So maybe that was the case. I don't know. But that's what we're into here. And this character is a Shinigami, pretty low level by the looks of it, gets an order to go check on Rukia in the human world, which that part makes sense. Rukia's been gone an extensive amount of time. Soul Reapers aren't supposed to necessarily leave for days and days and days on end. They're not supposed to integrate into human society for that long. They're supposed to go, carry out their mission, maybe stay a few days, so to speak, and then leave. At least that's the way I always took it. An extended period's not uncommon necessarily, but the fact that they don't really report in often or don't go back to the Soul Society, be like, okay, changing shifts. All right, man, it's your week. See you next Saturday. It's been kind of odd. So they're sending someone to check on Rukia because there's something else that they're unsure of. They don't know what's going on with Rukia. So this character goes out, and that's the end of the episode. So the filler scene, once again, I don't think it was a necessary inclusion. It doesn't really bring anything to the storyline that's about to come, but it's not breaking of plot or anything, and it doesn't create any issues later on. It does make sense that Rukia not coming back to the Soul Society by this point. We can assume she's been there for a couple of weeks at this junction. It seems a little odd, So that being said, that's the episode. What did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. This has been Griever with Bleach episode 7. Stay tuned for episode 8. See you next time.